Do you own any of Giger's Necronomicon book or his paintings? Do you have that book?
I have a bunch of H.R. Geiger art books that are like just compilations of his paintings and stuff.
Do you have Geiger's Necronomicon? And there's a regular Necronomicon too.
I have the only thing that I have that's a Necronomicon is a big compiled book of H.P. Lovecraft short stories.
My friend Dustin handed me a book once. He's like, check this out. It said Necronomicon. I opened it up. There was just like a bunch of occultish like imagery.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I didn't read it, but I was like, dude, this is sick.
Like the Mad Arab. I forgot the dude's name who's supposedly like... It's from, I think a lot of different publications have come out trying to be this thing. But it's something from... I think the Necronomicon was a H.P. Lovecraft kind of invention.
Whatever our last trip was, I read that one.
From one of his stories. What's that?
No way. Lovecraft invented the Necronomicon?
I believe so. And a character, some foreign name, and he was the Mad Arab, and he wrote it. It was in one of his stories. That's where I believe the history of the Necronomicon came from. It was from a H.P. Lovecraft short story. But I don't remember which story.
There's got to be a real one that he based his story off of.
No. Yeah, Abdul Al-Hazarad, the chat has said.
Aleister Crowley's Necronomicon. Who is Aleister Crowley?
Aleister Crowley was, well...
Do you know? You actually know?
He was like, he claimed to be like a magician.
Yeah, I think so. I've heard so much about that.
He wrote books. He was an author. He wrote books about the occult and stuff.
Maybe
like
I'm thinking of somebody. There's figures in occultish history that are so fascinating.
Yeah.
That I don't know enough to talk about on the podcast. So I'm gonna look that up. I'll get back to y'all. We're gonna get weird.
We're gonna get back to y'all.
We're gonna open up a portal.
But I have some H.R. Geiger action figures that Todd McFarlane put out. I've been a collector of Geiger stuff. I've always loved the Alien films. You have some, I guess, Geiger figs, because you have Alien figures and stuff like that from NECA.
Yeah.
I had Geiger Alien action figures from fucking Hasbro.
Yeah, those toy
Alien. Gorilla Alien.
Original Alien figures. When I was a kid, that was what I was about. Alien toys, that's it.
Terminator 2?
What?
You didn't have the Terminator 2 Toy Biz line?
No.
Oh, I had a bunch of them.
When I was a kid, I felt like every kid had the one thing they were into. Above all, like, you had toys,
above all else,
but there was one toy that you were all about, and for me, it was Aliens toys. Like, all my friends knew whenever I had a birthday, like, get Derek Aliens toys. That's all he wants.
That's cool.
I had them all.
It was 3 phases for me. It was, like, from birth, I had Ghostbusters stuff.
Yeah.
Like, I had a stuffed Marshmallow Man. I had all kinds of stuff. Then the 80s ended. Ninja Turtles.
Yeah.
Until 93, and then the finisher was Power Rangers.
See, mine starts a little earlier.
And I'm still in that phase.
Mine starts earlier and ends earlier. It was Masters of the Universe.
That was me too.
All the He-Man stuff.
Yeah, I had that first.
And then it was what would have been next? I guess.
It
was Ghostbusters for sure.
I skipped that part.
Then Ninja Turtles. And then it kind of died off. It was like I kind of got into
After Ninja Turtles, that was it for me.
Here's my genesis. It was Ninja Turtles. I had some Ghostbusters stuff when I was real little, but not a lot. But I remember playing with those. I had a ton of Ninja Turtles stuff. Aliens, nonstop, and then Star Wars action figures.
Yeah.
I switched right over to Star Wars and got in deep.
I got into Star Wars during the prequels.
I must have had 70 Star Wars.
I didn't start buying figures.
I got into it when they re-released special editions.
I got into it before that. My parents showed me like in probably 1990 is when I got really into Star Wars. But I never got the toys or anything like that ever.
I didn't as
for whatever reason.
I didn't as a kid. That never actually. You know what though? That's funny. The first toys I ever had, period, like toys I had as a baby. You could see it in old movies and stuff that we have. I was born not long after Return of the Jedi came out.
Yeah.
And my grandma got me a Mon Calamari. I had an Akbar figure, one of the squid head guys, whatever they are.
You were born not long after Return of the Jedi?
Yeah. Yeah, it was...
Oh, wait.
That came out in
May.
I'm
sorry. I'm mistaken. I was thinking of a different movie.
Can you look in the camera and you're wrong?
Yeah, twice tonight I was wrong.
But, yeah, I had... and a Wicket, like the Ewok figure.
Oh, that's cool.
I had those... You see me as a baby with those.
Yeah.
See...
You know what? Oh.
I'm really into Star Wars now, and I have a lot of Star Wars figures and collectibles and stuff. But I got those. I started getting that stuff after, when Episode 1, when the prequels came out, and I was re-interested in it. Because when I was a kid, I liked the movies. But yeah, I was getting Ghostbusters and Ninja Turtles. Yeah. I think maybe when I was real little, my parents had got me like a plush Wicket. I remember a plush Ewok I had, but like that was it.
Yeah.
It's cool you still have some
memories ever is, I've told the story before, but when my parents were pregnant, when my mom was pregnant with my brother, they said you can choose the name between Nathan or Luke, and I chose Luke because I couldn't decide, so they had me be the tiebreaker.
Yeah.
I chose Luke, and I remember the next day I was taking a bath. My dad said I made a good choice and gave me a bar of soap, and it said Star Wars. Like it had the Star Wars logo on that bar of soap. I had that memory of that, but I never remember. I don't know what this means, but okay.
But your dad gave you a bar of soap that said Star Wars?
Star Wars on it, yeah.
And didn't explain that you named the brother Luke, who was named after the character?
No. Maybe he did.
That's kind of shoddy explanation.
I was 2 years old.
Your brother is named after Luke Skywalker, and your dad really wanted that, and your mom was the voice of reason, and they turned to you?
I don't
Wait, but your dad gave you it when you were in the bathtub?
That's the story.
I was in the bathtub.
You were in the bathtub and your dad gave it to you?
What?
You were already in the tub and your dad gave you the soap?
I think so.
So he was in the room?
I was 2, so yeah, that's
dude,
right.
That could be Oedipus kind of thing.
That doesn't sound right at all.
You should talk to Freud's boys.
Okay. Call them Freud's boys at gmail.com. I was gonna say, yeah, for me it was, I remember specifically being at Toys R Us, and I think we were getting something for Dominic. I was still into Power Rangers and stuff, but even that was dying a little bit down, and Dominic was getting a bunch of stuff, and I remember my dad looking at the entire wall of Star Wars figures, and he was just like, thank God you kids never got into this. Ugh. And then the next year, I had seen bits and pieces of them on TV, but I hadn't sat through them.
Yeah.
Once I hit junior high, I saw them for the the VHSs of the special editions.
Yeah.
Or no, the special editions were in theaters, and the originals were just kind of starting to go away on VHS. And I remember being at Costco getting stuff for my grandma's Thanksgiving, whatever, helping her out, and she saw that. I mean, it was like, okay, we got stuffing. Okay, we should get those. My grandma was just like, you got to see these. It was like, okay, this is random. And I watched them all and was just like, oh my God. And then in junior high, I bought so many figures.
When I got into Star Wars, it was there a time when you couldn't find anything Star Wars? Because I swear to God, I couldn't. Yeah. All I wanted was a lightsaber. All I wanted was these things.
Before the re-releases, stuff was out of
stores.
But
they didn't put the special editions in theaters yet, and I was like, I want this stuff, and I couldn't get it. All I could find was a shirt, and it said DV Darth Vader, and that was it.
What?
All the fuck. It didn't say anything else but that. I wore it all the time.
It just had the initials.
DV Darth Vader in between.
It was a black shirt.
No, it was a blue shirt and it had that black writing.
Weird.
I remember I saw Star Wars on TV. They would show it on USA all the time. I would catch bits and pieces of it, but I'd never seen the full movies.
Yeah.
And there were these 2 kids at my school that were, for whatever reason, I found this so interesting. They were talking about the walkers in Star Wars, the difference between
AT-ATs and
AT-ST and the chicken walkers, and they were just having a discussion about what walkers do you think are cool? Well, they both like the chicken walkers. I remember those are so cool. The big ones are stupid, but then they're like, yo, I heard that in the books they talk about a different walker. It's called a frog walker. It's called it's like an AT-PT, and it's like the chicken walker, but it's fatter. And they're like, what? And they're like, yeah, I'll draw a picture of it. And then they were drawing pictures of these walkers, and I was just the whole time, just
oh my God, this is so cool.
And then I stopped them and I went, guys, I need to ask you something. What? How do you get into Star Wars?
You asked them that?
I asked them that, and they looked at me like I was really stupid. And I went, I know I should probably watch the movies, but other than that, what can I do?
Yeah.
And they both were just like, I don't know, man.
Were they older?
No, they weren't. This is probably all in 4th grade, and they just instantly did not want me to be involved in Star Wars. They were just like, just watch them. That's it. That's all you have to do. And if you haven't done that, you're not into it. And I was just like, all right. I went home and it was like, this is it. I'm watching fucking Star Wars. The mission has been started.
Did you already have them at home?
No, I didn't.
You had to go seek them out.
Luckily, by chance, I downloaded it and it was all good. I went to Pirate Bay.
At 4?
No, they re-released them in theaters within the year.
Oh, okay.
No, it was within a few years. I guess I did see them before then. I remember feeling like I just got into Star Wars and then they were coming back into theaters.
I remember being a kid in theaters, watching it, and being offended with the changes. I remember being like, ugh.
Yeah.
Ugh.
A New Hope.
Even then.
A New Hope was released on my birthday.
Whoa.
I went and saw it opening night, and it was
cool.
it was January 31st.
It was funny. I didn't really see those in theaters except for Empire.
Really?
Yeah, Empire. I remember. I didn't really understand. Honestly, I didn't understand what was going on. I was new to Star Wars.
Yeah.
Saw them, and I didn't really know what are these. There's new scenes in the first one. Was that not in it? I don't know what is going on. And then everyone told me, hey, they didn't change anything in Empire. Just come see Empire with us. Okay. And then
I had grown up with a tape of them recorded off HBO or Showtime or something, and it was
USA all the time.
It was just Empire and Jedi, and I watched those over and over again growing up. I had only seen A New Hope 3 or 4 times over at friends' houses.
Yeah.
So I remember, and I hadn't seen it for about 5-6 years before it was re-released in theaters. So I didn't remember really what they changed until I went back again.
Yeah.
And I remember having such a good time. That's probably, walking away from that theater experience, the re-release of A New Hope.
Yeah.
It's probably one of the best movies I ever went and saw.
Well, that's how I felt when I saw Episode 1 3D last month. And
no one would believe me that I wasn't going to go see that.
Yeah,
my brother-in-law, my dad. I know your dad.
Well, you're going to go.
You're going to go, right? No. I am boycotting that. I have no fucking interest.
But you know what?
This is the same thing about you're going to buy Star Wars on Blu-ray.
No!
I encountered the same thing with that.
There, yeah.
Oh, you're going to end up getting it. No.
Nope.
No.
Wow.
Nope.
Yeah, that's it. But man, now that Disney owns it,
let's pray for original
I'm
Blu-ray
telling you,
release.
It will happen.
Of course it will.
I just want to point out that Farting IRL was born in 1994.
Cool.
So he's had some experience.
In real life, huh?
We got some great names.
Farting IRL. I could spend the rest of the night talking about everything I did in 1994.
Great article this week talking about
4th grade.
Talking about one of the. They were talking to one of the developers who worked on Battlefront 3.
Oh yeah.
He said that game was 99% done when it was shit canned.
Why?
George Lucas and Lucasfilm would not release a game. Basically, they were against releasing a game unless it had the full power of their marketing, whatever, behind it.
Okay.
Otherwise, to them, there was no point.
I think I heard this story.
Yeah, and so they were almost done with the game, and then were basically like, you know what? We don't have the money to fully commit to the marketing for this, so nah. And it was like, are you fucking serious? Just do it. It's done. They said basically it needed bug testing, and it was done.
So you're telling me that obviously in very different times, but Battlefront 3 canceled when it was done. Star Wars Connect, that got the seal of approval from Lucas. Yeah. Dancing in that fucking chamber, great.
Because that sold this new thing.
I'm so glad you don't own this anymore, George Lucas. Thank you.
I don't see how it won't come out though. If there is a game code 99% done.
Well, now
Star Wars.
How old was that now? I mean,
it was going to be on these consoles. Yeah, so just do it.
With what's the game that takes place in China? They just released
Sleeping Dogs.
Sleeping Dogs.
Yeah. Someone's got to buy it, right? I mean,
I figure something will happen.
Yeah, I refuse to believe that will just be dead forever. I refuse to believe that.
Well,
if there's a billion people just like, I'll buy it. I mean, hey, I don't buy any of the Star Wars games. You got my money if that comes out.
If they released an HD version of Battlefront 1 right now,
yeah,
I would buy that.
Exactly,
so
I would get it too.
Just do that. I honestly like that game better than 2, so just release that game. That was a ton of fun.
I didn't even dislike 2, but I like 1 better.
Yeah. You know what I thought would be so cool was to be able to play as Darth Vader and Han Solo, and that was not cool.
Isn't that funny?
I didn't like that at all.
It just added something not needed to a game that was fine.
Yeah.